Good morning. Happy Saturday. This is True Grit Crime, aka Mammal Libra Scales, coming to you to give you the rest of the documents separate from the disqualification document that I read last night. Also, a couple other things that I kind of had some thoughts about. Thought maybe someone else might have the same thoughts. I don't know. It's kind of crazy when your mind gets a little bit scatterbrained. Think about a lot of things at one time. Okay. Oh my goodness, Fluffy Bunny. I missed last night's live, but I'm here for this one. Oh, thank you. Good morning, afternoon, almost afternoon. I'm not fully ready at the second because I should have had this pulled up, but there's a lot always going on when you're trying to figure some stuff out. And I got to looking at this stuff on geofencing because I really I want to understand the geofencing. And then Nick's talking about the pings are not live pings. They're, historical pings. Like they start from a historical pinpoint. And I saw, I was reading this blog this morning that I found really interesting. I wanted to share with you guys too. But it made sense and it explained some stuff. But yeah. So it's just insane to me how this is even going on to just, I don't know. So let's see, what do we want to read first? It's the affidavit, Richard Allen's affidavit. No. The affidavit's standard. So let's read the state's response to the fourth Frank's motion hearing. I found this writing confusing, but he still failed to address the final ping at 4:45 a.m. Yeah, and that's interesting because there was something that I saw that I totally have to share. So it was interesting. Let me pull this up. I gotta send it to myself. And for anybody here, I'm totally not completely prepared right now, but let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to. Okay, so I'm gonna go back over here, share the screen. Because I was just wondering about this morning, so I got to looking, right? No, I don't want that. Okay. So it says this is your guide to location ping, how to ping a phone safely. Get this put up because I want to make sure. Okay. So, have you ever found yourself frantically searching for your misplaced phone only to realize it was on silent mode? Fear not, because the answer lies in the age old game of ping. No, we're not talking about table tennis or golf. We're talking about how to ping a phone and locate it in a matter of seconds. Whether you're a parent who wants to make sure your child is safe or just somebody trying to locate on their own misplaced phone, this article is the perfect resource for you. Let's put our detective hats on and let's solve this case together. Um, Contents: what does pinging a phone mean? When it can be useful? Full. Is it legal to ping a phone? How to ping a phone, way and step-by-step instructions, built-in Android features, built-in iOS features, top third-party apps and websites, command prompt and network utility, how to know and stop yourself from being pinged, ping away, but be mindful of how and why you should do it, an FAQ. So, what does pinging a phone mean? Have you ever lost your phone or couldn't remember where you left it? It can be a frustrating and stressful experience, but there is a way to locate your device with just a few clicks. The solution: pinging your phone. So, what does it mean to ping a phone? In technical terms, it is a process of sending data packets to a device and receiving a response. But let's break it down into simpler terms. When you ping your phone, you're essentially just causing the device to send a signal to it and asking it to respond with its location. This can be helpful when trying to locate a lost or stolen device or to check on the whereabouts of a family member. A cell phone ping is a helpful tool, but it's important to remember that it's not a foolproof locator. The accuracy of a pinged location can vary. A ping will typically provide an estimated location using GPS data or Wi Fi signals, but this can be affected by a range of factors. For example, if a phone is turned off or not connected to the internet, it may not be able to respond to a ping. Also, if a phone is in a basement or other area with limited signal range, it may be more difficult to locate accurately. When it can be useful, pinging a phone can still be a useful tool in certain situations. For example, if you're trying to meet up with friends or family members in a crowded area, pinging their phones can help you locate each other quickly. It can also be helpful in emergencies, such as if someone gets lost or injured while hiking or exploring remote areas. One of the most common reasons people may want to ping their phone is when it's been lost or stolen. And understandably, it can be a nerve wracking situation, and you want to locate your phone as soon as possible. As parents, we may want to ensure our children's safety by monitoring their location through their phone. Again, this is where phone pinging can be incredibly helpful. However, it's important to note that when it comes to someone's phone, we just can't simply go around pinging it without their consent. It violates their privacy and can be considered an invasion of their personal space. In some cases, it might violate the law. It's also interesting to note that not all phones are capable of being pinged, especially those that do not have Wi Fi or GPS enabled. In these cases, the estimated range of the phone's location can be determined based on the last known location and the time elapsed since then. Remember, to track a phone's location through pinging, the app must be installed and or activated on the phone in question. Hey, TNVO girls, welcome. How you doing, mamas? Welcome in. So that's really important. I'll reread that again because I feel like it's really important. It is interesting to note that not all phones are capable of being pinged, especially those that do not have Wi-Fi or GPS enabled. In these cases, the estimated range of the phone's location can be determined based on the last known location and the time elapsed since then. Remember, to track a phone's location through pinging, the app must be installed and activated on the phone in question. Therefore, it's always important to obtain the necessary permissions before proceeding with any tracking. Is it legal to ping a phone? When it comes to legal and privacy considerations, the issues can get tricky. For example, if you're trying to ping someone else's phone without their permission, it can be considered a violation of their privacy and may even be illegal. However, if the owner of the phone pinging it to locate its current location is generally legal and acceptable. Certain apps and services are specifically designed for pinging phones, often marketed as phone locators or GPS trackers. While some of these apps may be free, others may require a subscription or fee to use. Some mobile devices have built-in capabilities for locating lost or stolen phones, such as the Find My iPhone feature for iOS device and Google's Find My Device for Android devices. Legal scenarios. Law enforcement. Law enforcement agencies may have the legal authority to ping a phone, typically with a warrant, as part of a criminal investigation. Emergency services. Emergency services may use location tracking in specific situations to respond to distress, especially when someone's life is at risk. Sub Rosa, you're aware of the ping anomalies that happened when Mr. Steve went to the Monon High Bridge. I have not watched his live. I heard little chit chat about it here and there, but I don't know. That's his thing. Anyways, so emergency services may use location tracking in specific situations to respond to distress calls, especially when someone's life is at risk. Service providers. Mobile service providers may assist in locating a lost or stolen phone at the request of the device owner. Illegal scenarios. Unauthorized tracking, pinging a phone without the owner's consent for personal reasons, stalking, and or any unauthorized purpose is illegal and a breach of privacy. Spyware and malware. Using spyware or malware to track someone's phone without their knowledge and consent is illegal. And if you're looking to ping a phone to track down a lost device, it's typically a good idea to act quickly. The longer you wait, the more difficult it may become to locate the device, especially if the battery has died or if the device is turned off. Keep in mind that the range of a Wi-Fi signal or mobile network can impact the estimated location of the device. So the data you receive from pinging the device may not always be exact. How to ping a phone, ways and step-by-step instructions. There are many options available to help you ping a phone, including built-in features, third-party apps and websites, command prompt, and network utility. Keep reading to learn how to ping a phone using each of these options. The built-in Android feature. Android phones come with a built-in feature called Find My Device that lets you quickly locate your phone. It works by sending a signal to the phone and displaying its location on a map. To use this feature, follow these steps instructions, built-in iOS feature. Apple also has built-in feature called Find My that allows you to locate your lost phone. It works similarly to Android's Find My Device, but also has the option to activate lost mode, which will lock the device and phone number and display a custom message. To use this feature, follow these steps by instruction. Top third-party apps and websites. 1. Real-time tracking apps. Examples are Find My Kids, Like 360, Google Maps, Find My iPhone. Real-time tracking apps have become synonymous with family safety. Like 360 allows you to create circles for your family, offering features like geofencing and location history. Google Maps and Find My iPhone are robust tools for real-time location sharing. Location sharing platforms. Examples, Glimpse social media platforms. Apps like Glimpse provide a platform for sharing your location in real time for a set duration. Many social media platforms also have built-in location sharing features, making it convenient to keep friends and family informed about your whereabouts. And before anybody would ever, I know that they did not have this capability with Snapchat at this point in time when this happened with the girls. It didn't come till a little bit later. I understand that. So, emergency locator services. Example, family locator, GPS tracker, be safe. Emergency locator service focus on quick location sharing during distress. Family locator, GPS tracker, and be safe allow users to alert predefined contacts about their location in case of an emergency. Online phone pinging websites. Example, Ping My Phone, online GPS phone tracker. For those who prefer not to clutter their device with apps, online phone ping websites offer a straightforward solution. Ping My Phone and online GPS phone tracker are user-friendly platforms that don't require app installations. GPS-enabled smartwatches. Examples, Pingo Track, Apple Watch, Samsung Galaxy Watch, Garmin Venue. GPS-enabled smartwatches have become an alternative to traditional phone pinging apps. Leading brands like Find My Kids app, Samsung, Garmin offer GPS tracking features, making them valuable tools for keeping tabs on users' locations. Command prompt and network utility. If you don't have access to a mobile device and need to locate a phone, you can use the command prompt or network utility on your PC, either Windows or Mac. For this method, you need the phone's IP address, which can be found by checking your Wi-Fi settings. Here are instructions for finding the IP address on both iOS and Android devices. How to know and to stop yourself from being pinged. While pinging a phone can be useful in finding a lost device or keeping track of your children, it can also be a tool for cyber stalking and invasion of privacy. So it's also smart to know how to protect yourself from being pinged without your permission. Here are some tips that you can follow. Keep your phone in airplane mode when you're not using it. Disable location services for apps that don't need them. Use a virtual private network to encrypt your internet connection and limit access to your phone's IP address. Be cautious of any number of suspicious emails, texts, or messages that ask you to input your personal information or location. Ping away, but be mindful of how and why you should do it. Knowing how to ping a phone can come in handy in certain situations. Whether you're trying to locate a lost device or track the whereabouts of a loved one, it's important to use this tool responsibly and with permission. As a parent, it's understandable that you want to keep a watchful eye on your child's whereabouts, but make sure that you have an open and honest communication about why you're using this technology. Remember, technology should be used to enhance our lives, not invade them. So go ahead, ping away, but always be mindful of how and why you should do it. And if you found this information to be useful, don't hesitate to share it with other parents who might benefit from it. If you have any questions or concerns on how to use this technology, feel free to leave a reply below. Let's all work together to use technology responsibly and keep our loved ones safe. And this is the findmykids.org blog. But I thought it was really interesting. Food for thought. Anyway. So let's get to this other document. I don't know. Does anybody see why? I don't know. My brain is like mush at the moment. Just thinking about it all. Because I know in some of these documents, it's talked about like this ping, the historical ping, and then the live ping. There's no live, it's not using live pings. It's using historical pings. It's just something about the way that Fluffy Bunny, I found his writing confusing, but he still failed to address the final ping at 4:45 a.m. Yeah. Oh, man. I don't know. Sometimes it's just when your mind just reels about things. I also saw this other deal that I got to thinking about, and I know this was supposed to be a documents read, but I don't know. My brain is just like, I have to share this too, like to look at because it was interesting. And I will just have to rechange like the cover of the thing of the live. And if sometimes your brain just goes everywhere and you get scatterbrained and you think about different things, just like I do sometimes, well, you're not alone. And if you think I'm just a weirdo, then laugh away. I'm just a weirdo. I don't care. Uh-oh. I saw this other. Okay, I got it. Hey, Dex, that's not cool. That's enough. Thank you. It's just somebody pulling out outside. It's not that deep. Okay. Hold on. Hi, Kayla. Welcome in. I know this was supposed to be a documents read, but my brain got like off on other things. So I was kind of sharing some other stuff and just, I don't know, thoughts. So this is called street level surveillance. And it says, "Welcome to the field guide of police surveillance. EFF Streets Level Surveillance Project shines a light on the surveillance technologies that law enforcement agencies routinely deploy in our communities. These resources are designed for advocacy or organizations, journalists, defense attorneys, policymakers, and members of the public who often are not getting the straight story from police representatives or the vendors marketing this equipment. Whether it's phone based location tracking, ambiguous video recording, biometric data collection, or police access to people's smart devices, law enforcement agencies follow closely behind their counterparts in the military and intelligence services in acquiring privacy invasive technologies and getting access to consumer data. Just as analog surveillance historically has been used as a tool for oppression, we must understand the threat posed by emerging technologies to successfully defend civil liberties and civil rights in the digital age. The threat to privacy of these surveillance technologies are enormous, as law enforcement agencies at all levels of government use surveillance technologies to compile vast databases filled with our personal information or gain access to devices that can lay bare the intricacies of our daily lives. Use of these surveillance technologies can infringe on our constitutional rights, including to speak and associate freely under the First Amendment or be free from unlawful search and seizure under the Fourth Amendment. Law enforcement also tends to deploy surveillance technologies disproportionately against marginalized communities. These technologies are prone to abuse by rogue officers and can be subject to error or vulnerability, causing damaging repercussions for those who interact with the criminal justice system. The resources contained in this hub bring together years of research, litigation, and advocacy by EFF staff and our aliens, and will continue to grow as we obtain more information. But that's not where is it? Oh, that's where it was. When I found it, I didn't look on my computer. I was on my phone. Goodness. Okay, hold on. I will get this right. All right, give me just a second, because I guess when I typed it into the okay. Now I gotta share that page. Okay. Here it is. Street level surveillance, real time location tracking. Real time mobile location tracking is none of the ways in which law enforcement is able to track the location of individuals across time. Many individuals carry cell phones and other mobile devices with them regularly, and these devices typically capture some location information as part of the functionality of their applications, and the robust location ecosystem associated with advertising. In the past few years, law enforcement has gained access to this information by purchasing it from data brokers, giving them access, often in real time, to the location of millions of individuals who had nothing to do with crimes. Hmm. How it works. To advertise to you online, companies need to have some idea of who you are and what you like. And in order to do this, your behavior online and often your location need to be linked to you. This information is regularly connected, bought, and sold by advertisers and private companies. Weather apps, navigation apps, coupon apps, and family safety apps often request location access in order to enable key features. Once an app has location access, however, it typically has the ability to share that location access with just about anyone, including the police. Data brokers entice app developers with cash for data deals, often paying per user for direct access to their device. Developers can add bits of code called software development kits or SDKs from location brokers into their apps. Once installed, a broker's SDK is able to gather data whenever the app itself has access to it. Sometimes that means access to location data whenever the app is open. In other cases, it means background access to data whenever the phone is on, even if the app is closed. In many cases, applications require individuals to grant permission to access and collect location and other data in order to use the application. This information is generally associated with your ADID, a way of identifying you, your online behavior, and your location across devices, applications, and websites. This sensitive information is regularly sold and shared with entities that are not the original application, and law enforcement has begun buying this information from data brokers. How law enforcement use it. Real-time mobile location data is now being used by federal agencies and small local police departments alike. Military and foreign intelligence agencies have used location data in numerous instances. In one unclassified project, researchers at Mississippi State University used Locate X data to track movements around Russian missile test sites, including those of high level diplomats. The U.S. Army funded the project and said it showed good potential use of the data in the future. It also said that the collection of cell phone data was consistent with Army's policy as long as no personal characteristics of the phone's owner were collected. Of course, detailed movement of individuals are actually personal characteristics. State and local law enforcement also now use purchased location data to track individuals who may or may not be involved in crimes. They are able to use this information by identifying a device of interest and following its location as it moves through time and space, or they might specifically specify an area of interest to try to identify all devices and by extension individuals within that area. Law enforcement can use this data by first effectively geofencing an area, that is, drawing a virtual fence around a real world area of interest, and then collecting digital information from everyone in that area. This can be applied to any location that law enforcement deems to be of interest, including protests and sensitive locations like places of worship or reproductive health clinics. Who sells it? Location data can be purchased from any number of data brokers, which themselves either collect the information directly from the application via SDKs or from other data brokers and applications. Fog Data Science is a data broker that specializes in selling location data to law enforcement agencies. Agencies claim that is the only company that provides access to this type of information without requiring the purchase of other platforms or service. Vental, a subsidiary of the commercial agency Gravy Analytics, appears to provide the data on which fog data service are built and is a wonder about which we know the most. Vanel's current and former client is the U.S. government, including at the minimum the Internal Revenue Service, the Department of Homeland Security, and its subsidiaries, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, and Custom and Border Protection, CBP, the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, and the Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI. Gravy Analytics does not embed SDKs directly into apps. Rather, it acquires all of its data indirectly through other data brokers. LocateX and Veriset are other companies that sell location data to the government. Cobweb Technologies also integrates real-time mobile location data into its platform, which includes other intelligence analysis for police operations. I don't know why I just... Threats posed by it. The purchase and use of mobile location data undermines individual Fourth Amendment rights and circumvents regulations placed on the government's ability to track and collect information on us without reason. The Fourth Amendment generally requires police to obtain a warrant from a court before they search a particular location or person. In 2018, the Supreme Court ruled in Carpenter versus United States that under the Fourth Amendment, police must get a warrant before obtaining historical location data and derived from cell phone carriers, known as cell site location information, or CSL. I don't know if that's an I or a one. Historical CSLI. The court wrote, creates a detailed chronicle of a person's physical presence compiled every day, every moment, over years. With access to location data from the commercial data brokers, federal agencies can query data about the movements of millions or billions of identifiable people at once. They are not limited to data about a single area or slice of time. They can start from a single time and place, then look forward or backward at the locations, histories of hundreds of devices at once, learning where their owners live, work, and travel. Agencies can make extraordinarily broad queries that span entire states or countries and filter the resulting data however they see fit. It appears that this kind of full database access is what the DHS purchased in its 2018 deal with Vental. This stretches the Fourth Amendment's particularity requirement far beyond the breaking point. Fog device search feature provides a chronicle of a person's life that is often even more detailed than the CSLI at issue in the important case Carpenter versus the United States. There, police requested CSLI about a specific individual. Carriers Metro PCS and Sprint provided the government with 12,898 data points spanning 127 days in one case. Using FOG's data, Missouri officials acquired 47,394 signals spanning 163 days for a single phone. As shown by records from the Iowa Department of Public Safety and Broward County, Florida, FOG commonly helped customers perform device searches on known advertising IDs. FOG's reveal feature can also be used to execute a dragnet search of large physical areas in what is the equivalent of a geofence warrant. Geofence warrants allow police to request information from Google about every device that was in a particular area at a particular time. Similarly, police can use a fog reveal area search to identify all devices within a geofence and time frame, then perform a pattern of life analysis on each device to try to identify its owner. Courts have invalidated geofence warrants on the grounds that they are too broad to be constitutional. The Fourth Amendment prohibits unreasonable search and seizure, and it requires particularity in warrants. If the federal government wants specific location data about a specific person, it must first get a warrant from a court based on probable cause of crime. If the federal government wants to set up a dragnet of the ongoing movements of millions of identifiable people for law enforcement purposes, too bad. That's a forbidden general search. The federal government cannot do an end run around these basic Fourth Amendment rules through the stratagem of writing a check to location data brokers. And yet, that is exactly what they're doing by purchasing mobile location data. EFF's work related to it. EFF has been investigating the use of mobile phone location tracking by law enforcement. In summer 2022, EFF published an investigation together with the Associated Press into fog data science, which prior to our report had been an unknown player in the mobile location broker landscape. I don't even know. Okay. Never mind. Like, I'm done with this. I don't know why. I just found that really to be interesting and my brain just went with it. I'm sorry, y'all. Anyway. So the state's response to the defense fourth motion for Frank's hearing. Now comes the state of Indiana by prosecuting attorney Nicholas C. McClelland and files its response to Richard Allen's fourth Frank's motion based on newly disclosed evidence and requests for hearing, referred to by the state as the defense's fourth motion for Frank's hearing. That, as in the previous three Frank's motions filed by the defense. This fourth motion illustrates a complete misunderstanding of the rule in Franks versus Delaware. 438 U.S. 154, 1978, and that purpose of a Franks challenge to a search warrant. The defense makes the same allegations in this motion as it has in its previous three motions that Sheriff Tony Liggett failed to advise the judge of material facts, and that without these omissions, the search warrant would not have been issued. The defense consistently in the three previous Franks motions have misstated and mischaracterized facts surrounding this case. That trend continues in the most recent Franks motion. Defendant's motion in paragraph 25 contains a list A through I of information that the defense asserts should have been omitted from the probable cause affidavit for the search warrant. However, the information is either irrelevant for probable cause purposes or wholly inaccurate. The state has addressed most of these inaccurate facts in previous replies to Frank's motions. The new topic that the defense focuses on in the fourth Frank's motion is at the AT&T pings. The defense includes in this motion information about pings generated by AT&T and on February 13, 2017 through February 14, 2017. The defense also includes statements made by Sergeant Blotcher, who he was consulted by Steve Mullins about the pings. The information in the motion showed that the defense does not understand the information contained in the pings, and it exacerbates the problem by mischaracterizing the statements by Sergeant Blotcher. Further, contrary to what the defense motion states, the defense have known about the pings well before the April 26, 2024 discovery disclosure. When AT&T pings a phone, they will send a signal from the tower nearest the cellular device to that cellular device. From the time it takes the signal to reach the device and get back to the tower, they will determine a location of that device. The location can be accurate at times, but can be completely inaccurate at times. If the tower cannot make cellular contact with the device, then the ping's data will show a historical data location. That means the service provider will show a location from the historical data located from the device. It is the last latitude and longitude collected, or longitude and latitude collected from the tower when it had good service with the device. That is not a pinpoint location. The location given comes with an inaccuracy range of anywhere from 400 meters to 25,000 meters. Those inaccuracy ranges can differ based on several factors. A tower can lose contact with the device because the device runs out of power or because the device loses cellular service. Law enforcement use this as a tool in certain cases to attempt to locate a cellular device. It is not always an accurate way to locate a device, but can be used as a tool to help determine the location of a device. In our current case, when the girls went missing, law enforcement contacted AT&T and asked AT&T to ping the cell phone of Liberty German. This was done in an effort to locate the girls. The pings came in from AT&T every 15 minutes. That means that AT&T would send an email to law enforcement every 15 minutes showing the ping results of pinging Liberty German's phone. Each ping will give you a longitude and latitude of the device with the radius estimate and the source of that data. The location data is not a pinpoint location, but can range in accuracy based on the radius estimate and or based on the contact that the phone had with the tower. If the phone did not have contact with the tower, the longitude and latitude is based on historical location data. In those cases, there will not be an inaccuracy range because the location is based on historical data and not on live data. The defense deposed Indiana State Police Sergeant Greg Edwards on February 27, 2024. The defense presented the AT&T pings to Sergeant Edwards for his review. Sergeant Edwards explained the data in the pings to the defense at the time. Sergeant Edwards stated, so those emails began coming in and you've got this text block that has to do with, again, the case ID number or the number they've assigned to it. AT&T has assigned to it. You've got the mobile number. So the phone number that is assigned to the device that they're currently pinging, and we can see the last four digits here are 7599. Confidence level, they might put in whether or not that was a high confidence location for it, meaning that they had a lot of good information coming in from the device and from the tower network to say it's real close within this area. They might say it's a low confidence area, meaning that it's quite large or here they aren't even listing a confidence area. So I don't know what to say about the confidence area. Sometimes the confidence level, they'll have a size in meters. So say this is within 1,000 meters. We believe that the device is somewhere within 1,000 meters of this geolocation. So that's why they'll list this in confidence area. Then the latitude and the longitude. So they give you a latitude and longitude coordinates so you can plot that on the map. And then radius, location accuracy unknown. So they didn't give us. That's why there's no confidence level. There's no number of meters from that geopoint that associated with it. And then data source is telling us that it's coming from historical records. That's not coming from the device, like live, and they're active. They're providing information coming from. They're going back and they're collecting information from historical call detail records. Whew. So basically, you have a person just putting their testimony into legal documented form without being in court testifying on the stand. Boy, oh boy. Sergeant Edwards later says with AT&T, part of the reason why it says historical here is that they all say, all right, we're going to ping the phone, but they can't get to the phone. Well, then they'll use the last known location from the historical records. So that is the difference in the live ping. It's going back to the historical records saying, we can't find the phone right now. But here's what we know it was last. The ping emails collected all show historical data. That means that the tower could not find the phone at the moment the ping was initiated. So it just gave the service provider the historical data location. That doesn't mean that the phone wasn't in the area or that the phone wasn't in working condition. It means that the tower could not contact the phone. That historical data continues through all the pings. Sergeant Edwards did his very best to explain to the defense the information on the ping returns. He attempted to explain to them how pings work, what the longitude and latitude data means, what historical location means. The defense still does not understand how to interpret the pings from AT&T. The pings from AT&T show the location of the phone through historical data. That means that the tower is not contacting the phone. Oh my goodness. Wow. The defense then goes on to mischaracterize Sergeant Blocher's statements contained in Steve Mullen's report. Sergeant Blocher reports that from his evaluation, the last contact that the phone had with the cellular tower was at 5:44 p.m. on February 13th. Records from AT&T show that there has been no contact with the tower since then. From that information, he determined that the phone was no longer in the area or no longer in working condition. The defense wants this to mean that the phone is not in the area from the evening of the February 13, 2017 until the morning of February 14, 2017. That is not what it means. It means that since the pings were only showing the historical data location, the phone was not having contact with the tower. Sergeant Blocher explained that could be because the phone was not in the area, but it could also mean that the phone was not working. This is consistent with the pings collected from February 13, 2017 through February 14, 2017. that the pings are giving an estimated longitude and latitude based on historical data location information, not live pings. This information is consistent with the information in the probable cause. The information that we have is that the girls were dropped off at the trails around 1:30 on February 13th, 2017, and that at 2:13 p.m. their kidnapper ordered them down the hill. There is no evidence that the girls were ever taken from the area or that they were brought back to the area later to be murdered. Every indication is that they were ordered down the hill and then murdered soon after. The historical location data from the AT&T pings does not mean the phone was not in the area during the evening of February 13, 2017 until the morning of February 14, 2017. It is another example of the defense taking information and stating that it means something that it doesn't. This is consistent throughout all of their Frank's motions. The state has outlined the test used in Frank's in its prior responses. In order to have a Frank's hearing, the defense's attack on the probable cause must be based on deliberate falsehood or acts of reckless disregard for the truth, and those allegations must be accompanied by an offer of proof. The claim should point out specifically the portion of the warrant affidavit that is claimed to be false and should be accompanied by affidavits or sworn statements or reliable statements of witnesses. The defense must show that there is inaccurate or omitted information, that the probable cause is lacking if the omitted information is included. Franks versus Delaware 438 U.S. 154 1978. Herein the defense claims omissions, if included, would negate probable cause for the search warrant of Richard Allen's residence. The defense has not met its burden. The omitted information from the AT&T pings does not negate the fact that Richard Allen places himself on the bridge at the same time that Liberty German took the photo of Bridge Guy, who ordered the girls down the hill. Further, Richard Allen admits that he was wearing clothing matching the clothing the Bridge Guy was wearing that day. That, along with other eyewitness testimony and other evidence gathered, establishes probable cause that Richard Allen is Bridge Guy, and he is the one who kidnapped the girls. Wherefore now comes the state of Indiana by prosecuting attorney Nicholas C. McClelland and files the response to the defendant's fourth motion for a Frank's hearing and would ask the court to find the defense has not met its burden to warrant a Frank's hearing. The motion contains nothing more than their beliefs about what the AT&T pings mean without an understanding of what the data means. Sheriff Tony Liggett did not intentionally or recklessly omit evidence or lie about evidence in the probable cause affidavit to support the search warrant in an effort to mislead the judge. The facts in the affidavit are true and accurate and are supported by evidence collected in the case. Sheriff Tony Liggett relied on that evidence when drafting the affidavit for search warrant as the best reliable information known to him and related to Richard Allen at the time of the request. That there are no inaccuracies or omissions in the probable cause for the search warrant that are of material nature, and the defense argument that law enforcement dishonestly is pervasive and relates back to the affidavit in question is not supported by sworn statements, affidavits, or other reliable statements. Nicholas C. McClelland, prosecuting attorney. My. certified on the 17th day of May, 2024. Ooh, that was a mouthful, man. A lot. Georgia Jakes says, we don't know that, though. The phone data doesn't show the time for RA. Well, we know what we're being told right now. We haven't seen anything yet. We still got a lot to see. Like, this is still, like, a long way to go. And maybe this week, as they start to go and explore this motion in limine, because you have to understand that that's like a little small trial within like a bigger trial type thing. Well, it will kind of get a bigger understanding, a bigger idea of what more is going on here. It's just crazy because this thing was like shut down, locked down for so long, you know? It's also, perspective, because there's a lot of people coming into the case that may have not followed it from the beginning. Like, I can remember when this happened. Like, I remember watching it on the news. I remember when they announced finding the girls. There was some odd stuff going on online, too. Like, the day the girls went missing, there was this website called My Death Space that started, like, talking about the girls being missing. And just My Death Space is so odd of a place to start talking about a death like the day before, like, the girls' bodies are found and they're just missing. I thought that was odd. I think, like, this whole premise of, like, how this kind of perpetuated on social media and then it's, like, spread to still keep going and keep pushing through social media is absolutely just flabbergasting to me. Yeah, right, Fluffy Bunny, you're right. We don't actually know anything about RA's phone yet. And that's what I'm saying is, like, there's so much that we're going to hear, but we have to wait until trial. Jeans and jacket, pretty much uniform for man hiking. I mean, that's pretty standard around Indiana. Keeping it real with you, like, a lot of guys wear, jeans and boots and Carhartt jackets. It's not uncommon. Everybody wears them. Especially when it comes down to Barbie communities. You know what I mean? But yeah, I remember when this happened, and I remember, watching this unfold and watching this over the years online. I've watched. I've not participated in a lot. And I know it may seem like strange, but like everybody's like, why haven't you just like dipped yourself like fully deep in about talking about this case? And I'm going to tell you why. Because we didn't know anything about this case except that two young girls went to a trail in a rural area to go on a hike. They crossed a bridge and they were directed to go down a hill, and they were found deceased. And then you have the police saying, we're looking for this guy. Spread the word. Get it out there. And people put it out there. But that's really all anybody knew. That's all anybody knew. Everybody can sit online and they can talk about it and they can speculate and form maybe their own thoughts and opinions. And that's okay. It's okay for everybody to have their own thoughts and their own opinions. But I think it's also important at the end of the day to remember that each and every one of us are human beings. No one is above one another. No one's better than another person. And while you may not always agree with somebody else's opinion, it's okay to just say, respectfully, I disagree, and leave it at that. I don't understand why people have to be so ugly and they have to attack each other. It makes no sense at all whatsoever. And it doesn't cost you anything to be kind to the next person. Just remember that. It costs you nothing to be kind to someone else and to listen. Sometimes that's all somebody needs, is for somebody to listen. And when you listen, you learn a lot of things. You see a lot of things. But that's why I haven't really dove into it, because you see things that are just crazy all over this thing. Things come to light that you think in your mind, like, dang, I see that like in a movie. I didn't think that would be like real life, real life. It's real life. It's real life. All of these people who doubt that like these like groups are out there, like these kinds of people, if you think that they're selling like a fairy tale, you're absolutely insane. You've lost your marbles. Start chasing them and collecting them, putting them in the bag. You got to keep them together because it's real. So I think it's important, because when I finally get all of the pieces to the puzzle to tell this story, I want to be able to tell it the right way. I don't want to sit at speculation station. I just want to find out what happened. Because really, like, I think that everybody has something to say. Everybody's thoughts and voices and opinions can be valid and they can be helpful. And so, like, I think it's important, like I said, to listen, because everybody has something to offer. And although you may not like each other, you don't have to attack each other for that. I don't know how to say it. Anyways. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I hope that what I presented today kind of gave you some food for thought. I know I didn't do like all of the rest of the documents, but in my honest opinion, the only ones that were of really like big substance at this point was this one and the motion to disqualify. Yes, I'm not saying that any of the other documents aren't important, but there's a lot to think about, lot to process. We know of an absence of RA's phone though. Yes. It's all so much. So what I like, I want to be able to like get my mind frame. Like I've read all of the Frank's motions and things like that. I kind of want to like take some time to like reskim back over that, familiarize myself with some things um, before this hearing on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, because that is still pop, lock, and dropping, even though um, they try to get a continuance, but that's not going. So I don't know. Um, but yeah, so I look forward to talking to you guys. Like I probably won't get on until um Tuesday night um when I get home from court or whatever. Hi, Adrian. How are you? I've been babbling, I guess, for a little bit. I was about to sign off. Um but yeah, and um so yeah, so I was going to go ahead and try to do the lives in the evening. Like I said, it's a um how am I doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm just was talking about how this weekend I kind of want to sit down and just um get my mind refreshed of everything that we have seen and read throughout all of the different Frank's memorandums. Like I said, I've read them. Um I've printed them out. Like there's all kinds of stuff that I've done. Like I've highlighted pages and made notes and things of that nature. Like this, I want to be prepared for like what we're gonna hear this week coming up. You know, there's a lot going on. A lot going on. So I'm sure you're so thorough. I try to be. I really, honestly, I try to be. And I even have to issue a retraction from last night because when I read the motion of disqualification, I realized I said that it was 30 pages. And then after I finished, I was like, girl, you read 40. What is wrong with you? But my brain's like, oh, you just had to get through it. You know, it gets bad when you start talking to yourself, right? You talk to yourself, but when you start answering yourself, you know you got a problem. I'm just joking, guys. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I try to be thorough. Like I had a bit of like a back and forth this week trying to get everything set up. Like, oh my goodness gracious. So I had talked about before, I don't know if I have mentioned it, but I went and got a media pass so that I can start, you know, when trial comes, I can start doing my piece to put together for this case. And so they say that, you know, they're going to block off like certain parking and stuff. I mean, I know that's for trial, but I don't know if they're planning on doing this for like each hearing now in Carroll County. Like the way that they've been acting, I mean, they're liable to do anything to you at this point. I don't know. So I called the county clerk's office because it says that you have to talk to the county clerk's office to, you know, get like this specialized pass, whatever. And so I'm like, okay. So I called the county clerk's office, and the clerk's like, you have to send an email to the mayor of Delphi. What? Yeah. You have to send an email to the mayor of Delphi. What the fuck? My screen just flickered when I said that. That's freaking crazy. Were they nice to you? Yeah, I mean they were very, very well. The mayor was nice to me. The clerk's office, like the lady kind of was like, I'm going to give you this phone number and you have to dial this phone number. Because at first, when I called her, I was, trying to get the information because they're supposed to give it to you. And she said, hold on a second. And she got back on the phone. She said, I just got this email that said media personnel have to call the Delphi Police Department. And they also have to send an email to the mayor. What? What? I'm like, really? So, like, I sent I sent an email to the mayor, and then I got a response back from the mayor. And the mayor's like, I have forwarded your information to the chief of the police department, Chief Lamar. And I'm like, okay. So is Mr. Lamar going to like reach back out to me to let me know that he like got my information? You right? At least something. Let me know what's going on, because I just want to make sure that when I go to sit in these hearings, as I'm sitting and I'm listening to this stuff that's probably going to want to make me slide off of my seat, I don't want to have to worry about you trying to tow my vehicle. Because I read this other thing. Oh my gosh. I will have to find it and post it on the community board, right? But they were talking about like even local businesses, like preventing people from being able to park at like local businesses. And if they went into the business and you were not there, they were going to start towing cars. It was the most petty write up I've ever seen. And again, I don't want to have my car towed. Like, I think that that's ridiculous, in my opinion. But also, like, if media is supposed to be checking in with you or whatever, and you're supposed to be like coordinating this, don't you think like if there's a hearing on Tuesday, you should have like already given me a call back, because you designated like that date for everybody to call in, and I called in and sent emails and you did not respond. I just find that very unprofessional. But stop it. Stop it, crazy. I can't help it. They're definitely the grumpiest town. They've always been like really nice to me, like really kind or whatever. Like I said, I've been there a couple times. When we went exploring, my husband and I went exploring through the woods, and through the area, just to really understand the totality of everything. Like, I wanted to understand. And they have this family butcher that is there in town who also does catering for food. That woman, boy, she's a wonderful like cook, and also like great like prices on meats and stuff like that, just for real. But yeah, so I don't know, like I wanted to understand this fully. I've driven all through that area, everything, you know what I mean? I think it's really important to really understand it. But yeah, so like I said, and somebody had, asked like who I was like, I don't know, maybe like in support of, or I don't know, maybe in line with. I think that there's a lot of great creators out there. And even though there are some creators that others don't like, I think that there are a lot of thought-provoking creators out there. I'm just going to say that. It's super pretty in the woods. Yeah, it's the terrain in it. it's the terrain that is absolutely insane. Like, you go and like it'll go like into a deep like incline very quickly. And like I said, there were places like I've gone when all of the leaves were on the trees, and then I've gone when the trees were bare. Fluffy Bunny says, I listen to a lot of creators to get different viewpoints, but obviously I have my favorites. Yeah, and I think that that's okay. Like, I think it's healthy for everybody to like be able to listen to each other and have like a healthy conversation or like a healthy debate about stuff. I don't understand. I don't understand why all of the craziness, like, why does there have to be all the fighting all the time? I don't get that. But yeah. So, like I said, I'm really just excited to go to the meetings, to come back. We'll talk about it. Like, I don't know. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this. I'm going to try because I like your channel because it's drama free, just facts in your opinion. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And your thoughts. I mean, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think it's important for everybody to be okay to each other, but I don't want anybody coming in here acting donkeyish or bullying anybody. That's just not the way that it is. It's not the way that it should be. Everybody should be able to have a healthy opinion and conversation. And yeah, if you don't have anything that you can contribute that's going to be in a positive manner, I don't really care for you to be here because I need positivity and love in my life. I need peace. And I don't deal with that evil. I don't deal with the bad energy. I've learned that some people, you've got to go. Like, not everybody is for you, and I'm okay with that. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I know that. I know that. But I'm okay with that. So you've got great insight. Thank you. Thank you so much, Adrian. I appreciate it. But that's like, like I said, I'm holding on until after the trial to kind of like really give like the story about this, because I want to make sure that it's accurate, and I wanted people to understand how much this really is important. I know that like there was like this debate last night about the hate group. And while I agree that there's not those people walking down the street in these uniforms of, you know, choosing, they are out there, and they're like chameleons on camouflage day. Okay? They're out there. They're like on camouflage day. Like, some people that you would never in your life think about would look to you like people that are involved in this stuff. People that you don't know. You don't know there are so many masks and facades that people are wearing in this world. And it is so, oh my gosh. It's like the ectoplasm of their energy leaves your skin feeling the utmost grimiest it is ever felt in your life. I really hope that you understand that. Like, it's that grimy. But dang, I've ranted on like forever. I'm sorry, y'all. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. Thank you for coming and listening. If you catch the replay, thanks for listening. I hope that you hit the like, um, share. If you like what you hear, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. As always, I always like to have conversations in the comments. Please feel free to leave questions or whatever in the comments. And I hope you have a blessed and beautiful day. Thank you.